Hello everyone and welcome back to another collectible review. Today we have the Iconiq Studios Bateman from American Psycho, a movie that I personally really love. One of my favourite roles Christian Bale took. And obviously this is a figure that's been out for a couple of months now, so I'm just going to go really quick into the review and just show a couple of the poses that I'm going to put him in. I'll quickly pan down to the accessories here. You've got the standout head sculpt here, which is the bloody version. You got a couple of accessories here that Patrick used throughout the movie. And then over here, you got the blood splatter effect with the axe. And you've actually got one of my favorite boxes that a figure has come with in the recent years, because it comes with a cool effect where you spin it around and now you got like a photography backdrop, which is an awesome idea. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot the raincoat to partner up with the bloody head sculpt there. So it comes with this, which is magnetic, so this is really nice. Preferably the way I'm going to pose him with as well. So yeah, if you guys do enjoy this, make sure you like and sub, and we'll get into the review. And I just want to quickly cut here, and obviously Bateman here is posing like a good Samaritan. He's obviously not going to do anything sus, but the pose I had at the start with the full trench coat, like at the start of the movie where he kills the homeless guy and the dog, and he has the gloves and the briefcase and whatnot, I want to just go back to this. So this is obviously the briefcase, and this is the hand that holds the case. So an issue that I came across is, you can see it right there. It looks like the gloved hands are casted in white as the base color, and they may have painted or sprayed black on top. So, I mean, that was just one pose I had him in. I popped that on once, done my intro, popped it off, and that's the result. So that's quite concerning, especially for people that are going to constantly swap and interchange. And lucky the actual fingers didn't get any rub from the handle of the briefcase, but that's pretty concerning. Why they didn't cast this as black would have probably been the better option, because it's like Iconiq have doubled the work here, where they done it white then painted it black. I don't know, I think that's a bit of an outdated process. I mean, you can see it there, it's all peeling. So for people that are going to constantly use this hand and swap them out, just be really careful, because you are going to get paint rub. So yeah, that's a bit disappointing. So I think now we'll start with the head sculpts, and Iconiq done a great mechanic here where it's just magnetized, so you just simply pop it off with a magnet. And it's a really massive, strong magnet. And yeah, that's a really smart idea. So I'll move the light a bit closer here. And I think the head sculpt is a bit weird, you know. I think it captures Bale, especially a young Bale in American Psycho. It's just that from what I've seen with other people's videos, and with this one too, the lighting seems to be really, really important with this head sculpt. You know, you need to get it really, really right to capture that likeness to Bale. Like, I think, especially the head tilted like this, I think this looks really, really good to Bale. You know, it definitely looks like him in the film. It's just, I don't know, some of the lighting doesn't really capture this head sculpt as well. Especially compared to the other one. I think the other one is way more accurate. But yeah, I think overall this one's fine. You know, he also has like the weird eye bags. Some people were complaining about the paint. I think the paint is fine, especially for someone as, you know, Bateman, who wanted to have the flawless looking skin. I think if Iconiq put like 5 o'clock shadow or something like that, it would look out of character to Bateman, you know. So I think they've done pretty fine with this. And obviously, I think everyone's favourite one is this one here, which is the Screaming Mouth. And yeah, this one's amazing. I'm gonna go with this one, so that's why most of the review for this half of the portion is gonna be this head sculpt. See, I think here it looks good. You know, I think there it looks okay. I don't think it's a terrible head sculpt, but I definitely think this one's the winner here. 100%. I've seen some people have different variations of the blood splatter, so mine might be different to other collectors. I think it's really, really good on mine. And I love the open mouth and the teeth and the tongue showing. That's really, really nice. The hair's good too. The hair has a nice texture, and it's like a soft plastic here, so this is the loose strand, so don't worry about being scared to touch it or anything. It's soft plastic, so it's not going to shatter or crack or anything. I just focused up a bit as well, just to see more of the expression. Yeah, really, really good. I'll show the reference that I'm going to go for with this head sculpt, and especially with that scene, you got to pause really, really quickly to find this particular shot that I want, but this is the one. I'll put the reference up now. This is the one I'm going to pose him with, and I think this expression captures that moment really, really well. So now I'm going to go to side-by-side comparisons from the figure suit here to the screen use suit. Bale wore a couple of different suits, I believe. This is obviously the main one, and the giveaway is the tie. So for example, in the introduction scene where he wears the trench coat and all that, I think he has a yellow and white tie when he wore the trench coat. I believe he had a couple of other ties and suits. Yeah, this is the main one that's in the film poster, and obviously when he kills Paul, he's wearing this and the raincoat on top. And I'll put the side by side up now. And I think the tailoring's fine. You gotta remember, this is early to mid 80s, so it isn't as form-fitting as other people. And I think it is a pretty good representation of the era. The clothing, like, yeah, it's not form-fitting, but it's not overly baggy. It's not like the old Hot Toy Bruce Wayne figures where that is comically too large for the figure. Just go down to the pants, the pleats, the shoes. The shoes are a bit shiny, so maybe be careful about scratching them. Also, the base is gloss, so if you put Bale in elaborate poses, he might slip over a bit, as if you're not careful. But I think the crotch grabber and all that, that's all fine. It would hold it pretty well. And yeah, just go handheld one more time. Just to show off the head sculpt and the tailoring. Before I do a swap out and put the screaming head sculpt on. That's going to be my preferred look. But this is still a really, really good look as well. So I'm not overly complaining. And yeah, I think it looks really, really good. Although I am just noticing, it seems like the hands are item specific because this is not really gripping the knife well. And in the promotional art and in the box cover, I'll quickly show it up now. He's got, you know, his ungloved hand holding the knife. So I don't know why Iconiq didn't give a hand that holds the knife a bit better. You know, you can see it's a bit free-flowing. Only the black gloves seem to grip the knife extremely well. And you got to be careful with that because it looks like it's painted black instead of casted in black. And a bit of a Bateman jump scare here. There seems to also be, this is more of like my camera on my phone problem. It seems like Bateman really doesn't want to focus, so I have to go a bit closer up here. And yeah, I've noticed that with a couple of reviewers as well. This head sculpt doesn't really like the camera that well. See there? See how it's like struggling to focus on his face? And I haven't really had that before with my other figures. They seem to focus pretty well. It's just Bateman here just is a bit camera shy, I guess. But yeah, what I'm going to do now is swap him out with the raincoat and the screaming head and the axe in hand and show how that goes. And just before I pop the other head sculpt on, I really love this shot in the film. I think it's behind the scenes still of Bateman just posing like this with the axe in the kitchen before he strikes Paul. But here's nitpicky me coming in, and it's got to do with the magnets right here where the neck is. That is a bit of a battle to put on for some reason. When you pop the head sculpt off and you put those two magnet pins together, it seems to clip on, but the pressure of the head sculpt separates them. And I don't know, I like the magnet idea. I love the idea on the rest of the raincoat here. It's perfect. Maybe the top one, so that top one right there, maybe should have been like a metal press stud, just to ensure that it does clip on. Obviously, when he's striking Paul and kills him, his raincoat is unclipped there, so lucky for me, for the pose I want, it's actually accurate as this. But for something like just a neutral pose like this, just holding the axe, leaning on it, I would have loved if you could clip that top button. It's just a really fighting battle for me. Maybe some people have heated up the kind of acrylic plastic to maybe soften it up so it can stick and attach well, but I don't know, I just have a bit of an issue with it. So we got Maniac Bateman here, and yeah, 100% this is the way I'm posing him. There's no going back to that other head sculpt. This one is far more superior. I will say, however, the magnets are a bit of a battle, like I said before, especially if you're going to go elaborate in the posing. And the collar is a bit of a battle as well with the head sculpt. It seems like the head sculpt only wants to magnetize one way, so the more you spin it, the more it wants to pop off. And that just might be due to the bunching of the actual raincoat with the collar there. For people that want to know or don't know, this is all plastic. I do have a metal and wood axe, but it is smaller than this one, so I don't know which one of the two is accurate. But this does give the illusion of real metal. And as well, it has the attach on blood effect, which I personally think is a bit too gimmicky. It looks a bit, it looks like anime blood, to be honest. It's just a bit too overdone. I might just do blood splatter like I've done my Terminator figures down there. Just a bit of antonized chrome. And on the raincoat too, on the, well, our left, his right. But yeah, that head sculpt is just killer. I mean, look at that. And yeah, this is 100% the way I'm posing him now. I might have to futz around a little bit more, but I think this definitely gets the job done. So just quick comparisons here. We've got the Bateman and the Batman here. I've chucked Batman on a regular base. which actually showcases how long that cape is. I didn't realise how big and long that cape is, because on the DX base he's kind of more elevated up. But height wise, I think it's fine. You know, Bale was obviously in an armoured suit in Dark Knight, so it's going to give the illusion of him being higher. And likeness wise, I don't know, I feel like this DX19, every time I see it, the likeness goes down. With the faceplates in particular. But yeah, with this head sculpt here, I'm really liking this one in comparison to the DX19. I think this captures Bale in that really anger moment 100%. And here's another axe-wielding maniac. It's my custom Jack Torrance. I popped a video of me customizing this next to Iconiq Studios Bateman. And yeah, this is amazing. These two are obviously going to be partnered up when my eventual module cases come. And yeah, these look really, really good together. I have no idea who would actually win. Probably Bateman, to be honest. He's a bit more physically fit than Torrance. But yeah, these two are just absolutely classic psychological horrors. And these two are going to look really, really good when my eventual module cases come and I'll put them together side by side like this. Two amazing books and also two amazing film adaptations. And this head sculpt was done by Balloon Man, I believe. I was lucky to find it loose on eBay. And I done obviously the weathering on the blood. And I kind of Frankenstein different third party custom parts to make the ultimate Jack Torrance pretty much. And that's a real metal and wood axe. So going back to this guy here, it's a bit disappointing that this is full plastic, but it is what it is. I mean, it gets the job done. And you know what? I thought of grabbing this guy out of his detail prison as well, which is the Enter by Scarface. An absolute gold mine to find these days. It's so difficult to find this guy now. And mine's very unique. When I do my collection tour, I'll probably go more in depth of why it is unique. You could probably see it just behind there, what's going on. That's a quick little tease. But these two have a bit of similarities, I would say. You know, they both kind of got corrupted by the American dream, I guess. And they both have similar attire, the whole pinstripe suit. You know, you got Scarface here with, again, very similar attire. But this is definitely more of an 80s stylized suit with the more puffier collar and all that. So onto my final thoughts on the figure. I think overall it's a really, really good piece. It's my first Iconiq Studio figure too, so I think this is a really, really good first impression. Although I say this, there are a little bit of negatives. I think maybe the neutral head sculpt, it's not perfect, but it's not terrible at the same time. I think people have overreacted slightly with the neutral head sculpt. Although I will say the gloved hands are a bit of a problem, especially with that paint scrape issue, which is kind of strange because that was an added incentive for being delayed. For people that don't know, they added the gloves and the Huey Lewis CD because it was delayed because this head sculpt had a bit of issues. So it's a bit weird why they would have shot themselves in the foot by giving, you know, easily scrapable gloves. Also, this is me being extremely nitpicky, but the change of 1/6 scale in the recent years, it's probably not that much of a nitpick anymore, and it is the visible joints on the hands there. You can just see there, the wrist pegs, they're poking out really, really bad. You know, you get companies like Caustic Plastic now and InArt who are diving into the seamless arm joints, and it would have been nice if they at least gave us some swap out alternatives. But you know, you could pose it away like there, you can hide the joints, so it's not that big of a complaint, it's just more of a nitpick, and I think that's where I'm getting at now. I think you have to really, really dig into complaints to find flaws in this. I think overall it's very, very good. And yeah, it's a great addition to my collection. I'm a massive fan of the movie, and I think Iconiq did do a serviceable job here. And yeah, that's about it for today. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure you like and sub, and I'll see you in the next one.